Welcome everyone to this very exciting day. I am Aaron Murky, the Weinberg Foundation Program Director for Older Adults and Aging. Thank you for joining us this morning as we celebrate the expansion of Baltimore's Housing Upgrades for Seniors, or HUBS, initiative. Thanks also to CivicWorks for hosting today's event, as well as the AmeriCorps volunteers who serve with CivicWorks and who help with parking, directions, guest assistance, and more. Thank you very much. First, I would like to recognize our speakers for this morning. Baltimore Mayor Catherine Pugh, thank you for being here. CivicWorks Chief Operating Officer Earl Millett, thank you. And Laverne Taylor, a CivicWorks client who's been assisted through the HUBS initiative. Thank you so much for being here. I would also like to recognize Weinberg Foundation President and CEO Rachel Monroe, without whose support we would not be here today. Thank you so much. We are also honored to have with us today a number of distinguished guests. In particular, I would like to recognize Hyang Tan, Deputy Health Commissioner for Aging and Care Services in Baltimore City. Thank you, Hyang, for your leadership and support of this initiative, that of Dr. Wen and everyone at the Health Department. I'd also like to recognize Alice Kennedy, Deputy Housing Commissioner, who has been absolutely instrumental in getting this expansion off the ground. The Baltimore City's Aging Commission for all of your support. I know many of you are here today. Can you raise your hand very quickly? Thank you. And finally, I would like to thank the Stolman Foundation's Executive Director, who couldn't be here today, Kathy Brill, and the Stolman Foundation trustees for their vision in 2015 in launching the HUBS initiative. Thank you. Thanks to everyone for making this day possible. The Weinberg Foundation is committed to helping low-income older adults age in their communities with independence, dignity, and maximum quality of life. This commitment is at the heart of the Foundation's Together We Care initiative, a series of projects focused on sharing and replicating best practices that promote aging in community in Baltimore and throughout Maryland. For that reason, we are especially proud to co-host this event, celebrating the expansion of housing upgrades to benefit seniors, again, HUBS. In Baltimore City, more than a quarter of all owner-occupied homes are owned by older adults. 17% of all older adults in the city live below the poverty level. Because members of this population are more likely to live on fixed incomes and experience limited mobility, they often have very substantial housing needs. HUBS was created to provide low-income older adults with a range of home modifications, repairs, and services. The goal, of course, is to keep the home safe and comfortable, and most importantly, to promote the independence of the older adults who own them and live in them. The project has been successful, but limited funding and systemic challenges have hampered the initiative. The result is a backlog of more than 600 low-income older adult households waiting, some as long as 3 years, to receive vital home repairs and modifications, including roofs, furnaces, hot water heaters, and the list goes on. To eliminate that backlog and to ensure prompt service moving forward, the Weinberg Foundation has partnered with the Stolman Foundation, the City of Baltimore, and numerous other organizations represented here today to support the expansion of the HUBS initiative. Specifically, the Weinberg Foundation has committed $3.5 million, which will leverage more than $8 million in additional funding, including city and state dollars, for a total project budget of approximately $12 million. With this investment, we plan on making Baltimore a model for enabling older adults to age in their chosen neighborhoods and communities. So, without further ado, to talk more about Baltimore City's support of this important and broad-based initiative, I'd like to welcome Mayor Catherine Pugh and say we are truly lucky to have a mayor who is committed and has the vision and compassion to making Baltimore a truly age-friendly city. Thank you.
You know, I insisted, Rachel, on getting a chair for you because if it weren't for you, none of us would be sitting here or standing here. And let me just say, Rachel Monroe, I cannot thank you enough. And I know this doesn't happen, just you as a person, but your organization as well. But Rachel Monroe has not just been a friend, she's like a sister. I mean, it's almost like having your own angel standing on your shoulder. Every time I think of something, I call Rachel and she figures out how to get it done. I love you, I thank you, and I thank the Weinberg Foundation, and Aaron, thank you as well. I'm really excited, and I want to thank Kathy Brill, the Executive Director of the Stolman Foundation, and Dana Stein and Earl Millett, who are leading Civic Works. Thank you so much for your work. I just want to acknowledge everybody. If I could, let me just say, I acknowledge all of you all. But there are some great nonprofits that are working together on this behalf. The Housing Upgrades to Benefit Seniors HUB program. Can't thank you enough for this focus. What you all don't know or may not realize is that there are two fast-growing populations in Baltimore City, 18 to 34, 55 years of age and older. And, you know, we have to give respect to our senior community. And oftentimes, when we think about all of the things that we have to focus on our city, we forget about our seniors. And I want you to know that I never forget, because one of the things that I continue to say to everybody, I don't care if you were just born, or you're 6 weeks old, or you're 4 or 5 or 6, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever your age, all of us are seniors in training. Ultimately, we all hope to get there someday, but we also deserve to be respected. Green and Healthy Homes Initiative, neighboring housing services, banner neighborhoods, rebuilding together Baltimore. Just yesterday, as everybody knows, 9/11 we're now using as a day of service, and a reminder of how we all should work together, live, love, and respect each other. And all over the city, people were rebuilding Baltimore together. And the Rebuilding Together Baltimore program is alive and well in our city. Sinai Hospital, Meals on Wheels, Keswick Multi-Care Center, and Strong City, Baltimore. Again, thank you all. According to the National Aging in Place Council, over 90% of seniors say they would prefer to age in place instead of moving to senior housing. And as one who lives in the Ashburton community, I'll never forget when I first came into my community, everybody was just so excited. Of course, that was about 25 plus years ago. They said, oh my God, we have a young person in our neighborhood. I felt good, but I really felt great because I had so many great seniors living around me. And as I watched families move them away from their neighborhood, and I even had conversations with many of those seniors who did not want to leave their neighborhood. They wanted to age in place. In Baltimore City, more than 75,000 adults are over the age of 65. That's 12% of the city's population. And more than 57,000 homes, 23% of all households, include at least one adult over the age of 65. 31,470 Baltimore City houses are owned by adults. That is more than a quarter, 27% of all owner-occupied houses in Baltimore City owned by senior citizens. Because older adults are more likely to live on a fixed income and experience limited mobility, but not today. They often have substantial household needs. In Baltimore City, it's some 17% of all older adults over the age of 65 live below the poverty level. And that means that they cannot afford these unexpected housing repairs or regular property maintenance. The city's Department of Housing, Community Development's Green, Health and Sustainable Homes Division, led by our wonderful Deputy Commissioner Alice Kennedy, is dedicated to assisting low-income adults to age in place and maintain their homes. I tell you, almost every housing event I go to, Alice Kennedy is sitting there. So she's our aging person, she's our energy-oriented person, but I can tell you there's nobody that cares more than she does. The city's Office of Rehabilitation Services, under the Division of Green, Healthy, and Sustainable Homes, provides low-interest deferred loans and grants to assist over 200 elders every year with such repairs as roof replacement, furnace replacement, window replacement. Anybody buy new windows lately? I just did. It's expensive. Water and sewer line replacement, handrails, and stair replacement, so that, again, seniors can age at home. The City of Baltimore knows that assisting these residents with their housing needs is crucial to neighborhood stabilization and blight prevention. But we can't do it alone. And so the HUBS expansion and partnership will help us reduce the wait for older adults in our city. Without intervention or the wait time for intervention, we need adults to be able to do these things and to be able to, again, not be forced to vacate, but contribute to the blight in their neighborhoods. They too want their homes to be repaired. They too do not want to contribute to blight in their communities. We believe that the expansion of the HUBS program will be the first tangible step in the process of making Baltimore a model for no wrong door, access to home-based and community-based core services. These services will include care management, benefit screening, as well as transportation. In addition, individuals who access HUBS for home repair will also be screened and referred to other services necessary to age in their communities. By using home modification as a platform for comprehensive delivery of vital services for older households, HUB is helping make Baltimore a model, as you've already said, a model for independent and community-based aging. We want to be the model for the nation. Older adults in our city deserve a safe, a healthy, and stable home to live in, and the HUBS expansion supports the goal and strengthens our neighborhood. We could not be more grateful to be a model for the rest of the world, because we need folks to understand that with all of that wisdom in our neighborhood and in our communities, we can't help but become one of the greatest cities in America. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you.
Thank you, Mayor Pugh. I would be remiss if I didn't read a list of all of the HUBS partners once more. These are the people doing the heavy lifting that make this work really possible. Action and Maturity, Banner Neighborhoods, CHI, which is Comprehensive Housing Assistance, Inc., the City of Baltimore, Civic Works, GEDCO, Green and Healthy Homes Initiative, led by the fantastic Ruth Ann Norton, Meals on Wheels, Neighborhood Housing Services of Baltimore, Rebuilding Together Baltimore, Sinai Hospital of Baltimore, and Strong City Baltimore. Can we have a round of applause for the people doing the work on the ground? Now, this is a collaborative project, and coordinating 12 partner agencies, organizations, is not an easy task. And it would not have been possible without the leadership of Earl Millett, the Chief Operating Officer of Civic Works, who has just selflessly and persistently gathered the troops, rallied them, organized them, and made this day possible. So I'd like to welcome Earl as our next speaker.
Thank you so much, everybody. I like Aaron very much, and I hate to say this to start off, but he's a liar, and I'll get to that, where it was really, truly more of a partnership. That was a great introduction, though. Thank you. Welcome to Clifton Mansion, home of service in Baltimore for literal centuries. Whether it was Henry Thompson or Johns Hopkins the philanthropist, and now Civic Works, we welcome you here, and we welcome you here anytime you want to come by. We're merely stewards for this small bit of time to this senior building, and we want people to be able to use it. In fact, we invite you, Mayor Pugh, thank you so much for coming. You're invited, as well as everybody else across the hall after this event, if you want a tour that includes going up in the tower. It's a view that shouldn't be missed. I want to start off by thanking the foundations. I know they were mentioned, but too often when we hear the word foundations, and we're here to celebrate, and it's worth celebrating, the $3.5 million that are coming forward for this project, we think of just the money that they're able to contribute. And I'm not looking down at that. But what was really special about this partnership was with Stulman and Kathy Brill and Hoffberger and Ann Billingsley and the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation and Aaron Murky. They led the idea of what we could do to help seniors. They convened the meetings, they brought forth ideas, and they're the reason that we're able to address this waiting list, this great need that has been out there for many years, and we're finally able to address with real solutions. The reason I'm up here is simply because I have the loudest voice. And also we're limited on time. I really wish you could hear from the dozens of people who have done tremendously hard work to put this all together. I hope to represent them well, again, just because I can speak loudly. we started off in the beginning when the foundations brought us together, and there were 4 nonprofit organizations and the city of Baltimore at that time in the guise of Ken Strong and Ken Galula, who said, we will put aside our search for resources to do the important projects we need to do. In fact, we won't apply for the funding that's being offered in 2015, and that was Green and Healthy Homes Initiative, Neighborhood Housing Services, and Rebuilding Together, in order to get those funds into the community so we could find these seniors and get them to resources that are just going unused. Resources that the city has, resources that the state has, resources that our seniors desperately need. That leadership team came up with the idea of the hubs, and then you've heard the list of all the great hubs, I won't go through it again, that responded to that RFP, have social workers placed in communities, going to seniors' homes. And No Wrong Door has been well described, so I won't go through that again. But also, in addition to No Wrong Door, senior-driven, senior-focused. I don't know what every senior needs the most in their home to live a happy and healthy life and be a part of this community. What I do know is it's that my honor to serve and give back to them because they've given our community so much for so many decades and so many years. I'm not serving them, I'm simply making a small payment on the debt I owe them for the community that they've left behind and created. And I know all of the members of the hubs and the leadership team feel that way. We have grown now and expanded. Alice Kennedy, as has been mentioned, has taken on a strong leadership role from the city to keep this growing. And all of the employees at the city are as frustrated, and it's hard to work with, and all of us, and seeing seniors waiting for years. And that's where the extra hours and time has been put in by all of these great people to find a solution. And we're thankful for the Weinberg Foundation for stepping up and making that happen. Through Civic Work, Cities for All Ages, and I'd be amiss if I didn't thank Lauren Avarella, our Elder Services Director, who makes me seem more knowledgeable on these issues than I really am, because she really has the intimate knowledge of seniors and what they need in the community. We do feel like you need all ages for a community, a city, even a block to be successful. And that can't be exemplified more than with our speaker that we were fortunate to have come with us today. Thanks for coming over, Miss Laverne Taylor, who's 73 years old, and I did get permission to say that beforehand. I just wanted you to make sure she was old enough to receive services from this program. She might not know that if she just came up here. But last time I was at her house when I was seeing the wonderful work that it was actually a social worker, Carrie Bennett from Sinai, that connected up with her. It was the HUBS program that got her access to city services from housing. They had a pilot program because they are desperate. They want to get the money out into people's hands. We see that from the city countlessly. So before this came about, they were able to redo her roof through funds that they found waiting for seniors to access as part of a pilot program for this capital campaign. The last time I went to that house to check on it, who did I see? Not only have they served, as I've talked about before, but having a healthy and safe home allows them to continue to serve. Out on the street in front, not in front of her house, but other neighborhood houses sweeping up the trash, was not Miss Laverne Taylor, although I'm sure it is many times. It was her 93-year-old mother who lives with her and is also an indirect benefit of this program. So without further ado, Miss Taylor, if you could talk about your experience with HUBS.
Good morning. I'd like to give special thanks to the Weinberg Foundation for their funding. And also I'd like to give special thanks to Miss Chelsea Heyman, who worked with me and helped me to get the needed work done in my home. There's a big old oak tree that's growing, and it had actually disrupted the cement in my basement flooring. I had an area that was just full of mud and all kinds of goop. The program has helped me by re-cementing my basement floor. Also, I was without hand railings on my outside. They also provided me with outdoor railings at my lower level of walkway and also railings to hold on to leading to my porch. As my 93-year-old mother and I, we were both kind of skeptical sometimes getting in and out of the tub. We both have arthritis. We had no safety in our bathroom area. We were supplied with a hold-on pole to get in the tub, and this was a blessing. They also provided us with a lower holding pole that we can enable ourselves to get in and out of the bathtub. I am so thankful for this particular program. It has been so helpful to me, and I hope others enjoy and get the benefit from the program. I'd like to thank each and everyone that's associated with the program. I am very, very grateful.
Thank you so much. Please stay, have refreshments, take the tour with Earl, go up to the tower, and have a fantastic day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.